everyone. If you ask anyone in the world, or especially in the Arab world, who's the most interesting leader, controversial leader in the last 50 years, he will answer you directly. Actually, let me try it. Qaddafi. Qaddafi is the Libyan leader for the last 42 years. Today I'm going to talk about him, about how did he start in the beginning, and then some special, interesting things about what made him special between the other leaders, and the end of his story. Yeah. In the first 90s, Libya was settled by France and England, and Libyan people fought at that time to expel them out of the country. Then at that time, Mohammed al-Sanusi ended up with became a king of Libya. People didn't like him because of the relationship between him and the Western countries at that time, who people fight to be free of. And then Muammar al-Qaddafi, who was 30 years old that time, took an advantage of that and took a chance when Mohammed Sanusi was outside the country and became a leader of Libya. He was a first lieutenant that time, and then he became a colonel till he died. He liked the situation. And then, since we know how did he start, let's talk about some interesting and special things about him. The first thing, we would say many things about him. First thing is that he always keeps the woman bodyguard around him, and then we'll talk about some special clothes that he wears, and then the green book, and also the green book and the special clothes about it. Muammar al-Qaddafi always keeps his woman bodyguard around him, inside Libya, outside Libya. I don't understand his point of view, but he might doesn't trust men. Instead of that, he keeps women with him. And the other thing about him, that outside Libya, he always sleeps and stays in a tent instead of hotels and apartments and everything. Even when he came to United States here, the last year in Washington D.C. and New York, he brought his tent with him, and there was like a media story at that time. Also some related story about that. Sometimes he travels by cars instead of plane, and that really for a long distance sometimes. One time he came from Libya till Saudi Arabia, to Riyadh, actually from Trablus, and that's, if you imagine that only in Saudi Arabia, from the way the place he enters to Riyadh, it's about 15 hours driving. And that caused a lot of troubles that time, because each of the countries he passed by should offer him like a security, and he came with his tent, and anytime just he wants to sleep, he stopped and settled his tent and sleep there with his woman bodyguards. The other interesting thing about him is the Green Book, where he states his theories about democracy and economics and even religions. And you have a chance to read that crazy book, you will love it. The last thing about him is his special clothes. He's not only the leader of Libya, he's also a leader of stylish people in the world. Sometimes he wear like an African or Libyan style. Sometimes he show up with a military uniform. It depends on the situation. You can see the different strange colors he wear. The different pictures sometimes he has. And since we covered some of the interesting things about him, we should mention the end of his story, which was the last week. Libya had a revolution like 6 months ago. Ended up with ALQADAFI killed in the last week. And finally, since we covered the beginning and the ending of ALQADAFI's story, we should say that people who have known ALQADAFI during their life closely will not forget him easily during their life because of the interesting things he had done. And thank you for your listening.
You read the Green Book before?
I've read like